Hey TikTok, this is my entry into the Teachers of TikTok entry. So this is why I retired early from my job as a school librarian. Sounds like a really good and cushy job, right? And it is. However, I was getting pulled in so many different directions. In addition to being a full-time librarian, we get designated, or I was designated to be inventory, keeping up with technology, website development, and then I was given the position of social media manager that didn't have any money. There's no money, and you know TikTok don't stop. Social media is 25/8, and so I just kept going and going and going until I reached my breaking point, and that was when, as a school librarian, was given a class. Anyway, that is a whole other conversation. If you know me, you know me, but librarians don't typically have classes. Now, some elementary librarians, because of the way the schedule is, and it is typically in my district a smaller population of students, it does become, you are part of the rotation. However, in middle school, I just feel like there needs to be some training when leaders come from elementary to secondary to explain to them how things work. And that was part of my issue, my challenge. And so I just kept getting more and more and more responsibilities added to me. There was less and less and less separation between me and my job. I was getting called on holidays, weekends, because updating the website, or can you post this on social media? People who were getting stipends for track or basketball, football, whatever. Hey, can you post this on social media? Do you know it's after hours? But there was never any consideration for me. Now, mind you, I kept doing it because it kept me sharp, kept my skills up, and it kept me with a job, okay, at that point, because it gave me job security. Nobody else wanted to do that because guess what? All of the other responsibilities that I was getting came with zero extra compensation. If I worked at a company where I had to work overtime, I was going to get overtime for that. But in a school system, you have all different types of leaders who come and try to put mandates on teachers that really make us burn out. Like they'll talk to the teachers as if they are the students. Oh, you got to get permission. You can't leave campus to go get lunch. It's just too much. I am 55 years old, about to be 56. So let me tell you what my breaking point was. With everything that I was doing, keeping up with inventory and all those extra jobs, the day that I decided to retire was March 17th of this year. We had come back off of spring break. I had just been back off of FMLA because my mother had some health challenges. I'm an only child. I live out of state, so you know all of that can go with that. So before I went out for spring break, I had just come back the week before spring break from FMLA leave. Spoke to an administrator who said to me, "Okay, next year I want you to be the computer science teacher." Now, mind you, the computer science teacher she just left because whatever, I can't tell her business, but it was unnecessary. She should have still been there. But then I was supposed to uh, be a computer teacher. I'm like, well, you know what? My credentials, my experience, my certification is a librarian. And so it was like talking to a brick wall. So I said, okay, I won't be here next year, no way. However, I'm thinking I'm going to maybe transfer to a new school, go out on spring break, come back. That day, someone came to me and said, hey, I need you to cover blah, blah, blah class because they didn't get back out of town on time. I'm thinking, I'm here. How did they know? How did they not know that they need to get back to work on time? I'm sitting here watching the people. Now, mind you, there's so many rules. As a teacher, don't be on your phone. You can't go off campus to go to lunch. Well, I got a phone call from my mother's nurse. So here I am trying to sneak and answer the phone about an important matter regarding my mom. So that was strike number one for me. So I'm sneaking trying to answer my phone. I'm like, man, forget it. I'm going to take this call because this is about my mom. So I took the phone call. It wasn't necessarily the best news that I wanted to get. So, feeling some kind of way. So I'm like, well, okay, this is day one. It's St. Patrick's Day. Let me just get through this day and, try to get to the end of the school year. So I'm about to go outside and sit in my truck to look outside, just be outside. I didn't have lunch or anything, so I was just going to go sit in my truck as I always do and just look out at nature. Was going to the restroom to wash my hands. someone said, "Oh, hey, I'm so glad I see you." I'm like, "Oh gosh, what do you want?" I'm gonna need you to slide over to the computer lab and keep the computer kids. I'm like, "Okay, is it just for today?" They were like, "No, for the rest of the year." Now, mind you, if I told you in this section that the computer teacher had vacated her position early. So I'm like, for the rest of the year. Now, mind you, I was already told that I was gonna be asked to do it for the next year, but not after spring break. So I said, okay. I saw the person. I said, okay, you know what? You're gonna have to get somebody else to do it because today is my last day. Baby, I turned in my notice. I went to my computer, typed up my letter to retire, and I put it in, and I was done. I think they thought I was joking when I turned in my keys. They were looking like whatever, looking like, no, I know you're not. I know you're not serious. No, I'm serious. It wasn't no, going all off, acting crazy and wild. When you've had enough, you know when enough is enough. And I was like, I'm over this. I had gotten to the point to where I had at least gotten to 25 years where I could retire. Full retirement in my district is 30 years. However, it wasn't even worth it for me to even try to hold on another minute. I was back at my house by 12:30, putting in with the state for my official retirement papers. I wasn't going back. I think they thought I was joking. From that day to this one, I have gotten so many phone calls from people needing my help. But at the time, I felt like I wasn't appreciated. I'm just gonna give you. I go to work to get my paper. I go to work to get my moolah and to do a good job and always be there for the kids and inspire them to read. But if that's not the priority for the school building, then I'm just gonna do what I can to maintain, and that's what's happening with a lot of different things. But I came from a country like rural where I had wonderful teachers, and that was my inspiration, my reason for becoming a librarian. I had a very wonderful librarian, so it's different now. And so I've been getting so many phone calls. Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? Oh, tell me how to do this. Other people's job, from plant managers positions to other classroom teachers and things like that. It's like, okay, now you see the value that I brought to this building, that I did things without being asked. I did it because I was in that building for 25 years and cared about the community and the students. We've had generational kids who have come to the school and graduated. I've had kids who were in middle school. Now they've got kids in the school. I've met what I consider to be my daughter at that school. That's a whole other conversation. If you know me, you know the story. And I'm just so excited for this new journey that I get to go see my little giggle pup. I have a grandbaby now. She is beautiful. But y'all, I got to get my official, what is it, the license with the star on it, because everything that was going on, having me back and forth out of state, I did not get my new enhanced license or whatever, so I can't fly right now. So I don't see myself driving to Colorado, but if I got to drive to Colorado, that is what I'm going to do. So this is my entry into the Teachers of TikTok. I am freshly retired. This is your introduction to me. If you don't know me, so that gives you a double my entry, and you get to know me a little bit more. So thank you so very much, TikTok, for letting me get it out, because I have not really publicly told the story. But yeah, you're going to have to get somebody else to do it, because today is my last day. Deuces!